Hi, and welcome back. This is Mind Your P's and Q's with Dennie and Ernie. This is,
You're Denny.
I'm Dennie.
And I'm Ernie.
I'm sorry. But you are here.
Thank you.
I
Last I checked, I made it this morning, yes.
I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Okay, today we're going to be talking about first impressions. That would cover entering a room.
That would cover, if you just tuned in, we are now your first impression.
Now,
yes, okay. Go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
Entering a room. We're going to cover things like handshakes, addressing the person in the room or persons. Also, some of the attire that you might consider for different situations. So,
business and casual and just comfortable, yes.
Absolutely.
So we're going to cover all that.
Mm-hmm. So if you missed it last week, we talked about octogenarian observations. That's what we are. That's what we do.
And octogenarians, that's such a big word, but yes, we deserve that. I'm glad we can pronounce it. That means you're in your 80s.
And observations means exactly what it says. Mm-hmm. We've observed things over a period of a long time.
And we've lived a lot of life, particularly Denny, and he's sharing a lot of his screw-ups too, which he shared last week.
I have made some mistakes, a couple in my life. And yes, we will address those down the road. Right now, we want to just highlight quickly, again, Ernie, just real quickly, your background.
Oh, goodness. Well, I was a professional speaker for years, and it started when I married into a Boston blue blood family and thought they had a disease. I didn't know it was a social status, and I did everything wrong, really messed up for years. For 2 years, I researched etiquette, manners, every book I could find. In fact, I have a couple of books that I'll bring next week just to show the service etiquette is still the most popular and most formal etiquette book, I believe, still in print today. It was written by Aretha Schwartz, and it's a military etiquette, and your military is your most formal. Navy is your most formal branch. Now, I'm probably giving you more information than you need today, but it was important to me to know how to research, how to study, so that I didn't mess up. And from there, one thing led to another, and I became a professional speaker in order to share a lot of the information. So that was actually kind of my quick background.
Okay. Mine is 50 years plus in the apparel industry, where I was responsible for selling to, representing manufacturers to major department stores around the country. And I also, in the course of that, found myself in a position to entertain quite often management in these large stores. So I had to learn my manners and etiquette and the proper way to deal with anywhere from 1 to 15 people at a time in a restaurant. So that's the area I'll be covering, your attire and how to entertain.
I also would like to really cover first impressions. I think that's something that's been asked a lot as far as questions, so we're going to be covering that too. And I'd like to talk about how to thank someone. So this is pretty much what we're going to cover today. Denny, do you want to start with yours?
I will. I will say we're entering a male or female. When you enter an office, and then we're thinking specifically about maybe it's a boss's office, and or at least your superior employer. You're called into his office. If you're given a forewarning, like 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning today, then you have some time to prep and prepare. I would say that, first of all, pick a attire that is a little bit above what you normally wear at your station or in your office or in the position that you have in the company. so that you present yourself as a little bit above where you're stationed in the company. Be a male or a female. Make sure it's clean. Make sure you enter the room with a positive attitude.
I'll cover
Ernie?
entering the room,
Yeah.
yes. When you're getting ready to enter any room, and we can go back to social situations and business situations, but let me just take a social situation right now. You've been invited to meet someone at a party, or let's just say at a hotel, maybe at in a ballroom.
I hate to interrupt.
Yes,
Right.
I know you do. Yes.
I know, but can you get back to that poor person that's trying to go into their office?
Oh, we're going to do the office.
Yes.
Okay, so they're standing outside waiting to go in the office.
They're all dressed up. They're ready to go in. They're going to see their boss.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I was going to take him to a ballroom. Okay, we'll do that later.
I imagine they would rather be there.
Well, I don't blame them. Anyway, okay, so they're ready to go into the office. Posture is number one. You must have good posture. Stand up straight, get that head up, and the eyes have to be straight ahead. The eyes tell everything. So you have to make sure you're making eye contact as you walk into the room. Regardless, this may be the first time, it may be the last time, it may be any time that you're going into any office, but stand up straight. Go in with a positive attitude and always with your shoulders back, head up straight. Walk in. Now, keep eye contact with a slight smile, just a slight smile. If you know them, you can walk in and smile. If you're not sure, go in with just a slight smile, and the eyes can tell so much. So go in and hopefully they will stand up, particularly if it's a gentleman. If it's another lady, hopefully she will. If she doesn't, it's going to be a little bit touchy about whether you take your hand for a handshake across the table. Kind of play it at that point, see what you should do. To me, I love a handshake, but you don't want to just have the hand out there and no one's standing and no one's giving their hand back. So kind of surmise what's going on.
And,
Yes.
well, I want to make sure now. Do a handshake. Don't lean across the desk and kiss him on the cheek.
Well, it depends on who it
Oh,
is. Is he cute or
I was
what?
trying to be funny,
Oh,
but
okay. Was it a boss you? Oh, well, never mind.
no.
Okay. So, well, I'm thinking woman to woman or man to man, but maybe woman to man. It doesn't matter. You just want to go in with confidence, and the eye contact will make the difference. Also, are we covering handshakes right now?
Go ahead.
Okay, this is crucial. If I ever had a suggestion or a complaint or whatever, it was about a handshake. And ladies, it came from you. The ladies always tell me, oh my gosh, I hate to go to anything. The men just kill me. They don't know how to shake hands. Because most ladies wear rings. And if you have rings on your finger and you're going in to shake, a man will try to grab the fingers and shake the fingers because it's a little more feminine than shaking like you would for a man. So, Denny, we're going to, yes, turn, whoa.
That hurts. Oh, that hurts.
Oh, yes. All right. When you're shaking hands, what you want to do is, ladies, is go right in. Make this the quickest movement you have, which is to go right in so that your you're right into that thumb. Now, let's shake hands. Now, squeeze my hand.
See, it doesn't bother her.
It doesn't bother the ring. So if you have rings on your finger, we practice this more in colleges, university settings, in corporations. I can't tell you, the handshake was crucial. So, and ladies, if you want to avoid it, don't wear rings. But it really does hurt.
Man, I will tell you too. Go ahead. Drive the hand in there, get a good solid grip, and shake the man's hand like you mean it.
Yes, a man to man, a woman to woman. And ladies, you're going to have to do it even with women, because what men tend to do, particularly if they're older, if you don't hurry.
I think that was a personal shot.
Yeah, it was, because
Okay.
I know how old you are. Okay, if we don't get the hand all the way in and you clamp around here, you go, and so clamp.
Well, I don't want to hurt you because I don't like it when you go.
Okay, well, see, but that hurts.
Okay,
I know.
sorry.
So all that to say, watch your handshakes. Practice at home. And if you have children, practice with them. If you have a spouse, practice with them, friend, neighbor. Ladies, at some of your stuff, just bring it up. Practice. It makes a difference so that you do know how to shake hands. Eye contact is crucial. Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, once you get into the room of your boss, the person above you in your business, I hope it goes well. And, if they fire you, they lost a good employee.
When you go in after you've shaken hands, hopefully they're standing. If they're not standing, they're still seated. Then you're standing and you will ask permission to be seated. You will simply say, "May I be seated?" They hopefully would be smart enough to say, "Please have a seat." But if not, please ask permission to be seated. Now, this is a little more formal setting. I'm not saying if you bop into somebody's office and that kind of thing, but in a business setting, I wish we could get back to just a business professional attitude. The thing that happened when we started on Casual Friday, all the world went to pot because Casual Friday allowed people to dress more casually. And unfortunately, casual to one is different from casual to another. And I remember driving through the bank and seeing, which used to require jackets. This lady, unfortunately, had a blouse on that was anything but professional. And I just remember that so well through the drive-in bank that day, and that changed my attitude toward a lot of things. And unfortunately, it certainly changed toward the dress.
Okay, now we've walked into the office, we've taken on our boss or the superior, and we're out of there. Now we're walking into a ballroom. This could very easily be at a trade show where you don't know a lot of people, or maybe you don't know anyone. You have a booth set up. At the evening, they're having a cocktail hour or a dinner for everybody, and you're walking into a ballroom full of people you don't know. What do you do? First of all, again, dress above where you're going to be. If you think everybody is wearing a coat and tie, make sure you wear a coat and tie. If you think they're going to be in casual attire, wear casual attire, but you might throw on a jacket just to be just a little step above. And when you walk through that door, make sure your shoes are shined, your pants are pressed, and your coat's pressed. And then what do you do?
Okay. Let's take it. Do we have a woman or a man? Let's take a man. You want to take a man going into the room?
Either one.
Okay. Let's take a man going into a ballroom. He's not real sure. In fact, do you want to hear the story about Ed? You've heard me talk about Ed, the man that I worked with years ago, who was very insecure.
Talk about walking into the room, and then you can talk about it.
Well, that was Ed who walked into the room.
Okay, talk about Ed.
In other words, yeah, I guess I wanted to. Turned out that Ed was a man who was with a company, and he was used to computers and worked great with all the whatever the machines are. He was in a room by himself, really did not have conversation. I mean, he just was, "Hi, how are you?" and that was it. So he was invited to step up the game. They put him in another position where now he's working with people. And then it came that where they want him to go and represent the company. So he's invited to this get-together, which happens to be in a ballroom. He called me and he said, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I understand, Miss Mann, that you can help me and you help people with how to just be comfortable in situations." And I said, "Yeah, I think I can." So Ed, let's take, for instance, what are you comfortable with? I worked with him a little bit, and I said, "All right, here's what I want you to do. Write down how, what, when, where, why, and who." And he wrote those down. He said, "What do I do with these?" And I said, "These are questions that you're going to learn to ask, which is going to make a difference in your life." So he did. I said, "I want you to go home and I want you to practice every question you can think to ask someone that begins with how, what, when, where, why, and who. They're not questions that require a yes or no answer. So how long have you been with the company? You can't say no, can't say yes. How long have you been with the company? That starts people talking. So Ed did his homework, came back, we practiced, and finally the big night came. He went to the party, and I couldn't wait until he called me the next day to tell me. So he called, and he said, he was called first thing in the morning. He said, "I'm so excited." And I said, "What?" I mean, for Ed, who was never excited, but he was much more excited. So anyway, Ed tells me, and I'm excited because I want to know what happened.
I want to know what happened. Well,
Oh gosh!
I'm waiting.
Don't
What did Ed say?
don't get me tickled. Okay. So anyway, Ed said, "Mrs. Mann, you won't believe it. I asked all those questions. I said, did you find out about some people? Yes, I talked to this one man for a long time, went to another man, spoke with him for a long time. A long time. I said, did you find? Yes, he this, he that. He found out all this information he's sharing with me. And he said, but the best part was when I was ready to leave and the man shook my hand and said, Ed, you're the most interesting man I've met in years. Do you realize that all Ed did was ask questions that night? This man had a chance to talk about himself, and people love to talk about themselves, and he felt at that point someone was truly interested in him. And actually he was, because Ed remembered every single thing about that man, his name, and he will never forget it. And that'll be someone that he's going to see in this company. So I was pleased, Ed was pleased, and I really felt like I'd done my job then.
Okay, so now
You can talk.
now
Go ahead.
get Ed. Okay, Ed's done his deal.
Okay.
He's done good.
Oh, he did good.
Hey, he did good. He done good.
All right, whatever. I was the English major. Never mind.
Okay, Ed's at home now, and we've got someone else entering the room,
Okay.
male or female.
Okay.
And they're entering in the ballroom. Mm-hmm. And now, take it from there.
Okay. Again, you make sure that your posture is number one. Number two, eye contact. And as you walk in, well, I'm going to take a lady this time. She's going in, and she's been invited to just a social affair with a new company, and she doesn't know anyone. And she's going in. Again, I always suggest how, what, when, where, why, and who. These are wonderful questions to always have in mind so that you know how long have you been with the company. They can't say yes or no. What position do you hold? I mean, there are just things that don't require the yes or no answer. And the first thing you want to do is just scan the room, make eye contact. If you don't see anyone that you know, go to the food table.
Or the bar.
Denny, who's telling this?
Okay, you are.
Thank you. It's my turn.
I would go to the bar.
I know you would. Oh, gosh. I hope all my Baptist friends aren't listening.
They'll be at the bar.
I'm married a Catholic. Oh, my gosh.
They'll be at the bar.
No. So anyway, all right. So you go to the food table because there's always someone at the food table. Am I not right? People are always
If
at
they're
the
not
food
at the bar. They're at the food table. No.
Oh, dear. Are we going to have to start this episode over?
No.
Okay.
So anyway.
At the food table, there's always someone there, and that's just a great way to start conversation. And you might introduce yourself. Hi, I'm so-and-so, and this is my first time to meet many of the people at this company. And so there's just a way that you can kind of work the room or just kind of talk to them. But again, there's always food, and you don't talk with food in your mouth.
Who?
Except at home when you're calling the dog. What?
Who? What? Where?
Who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Those are the questions. And they'll get you going, and they'll get somebody else going. And now that brings us to the third. You're invited to a residence. You're invited to a home. It could be for a dinner. Could be somewhat formal. It could be a backyard barbecue. It could be a pool party. But anyway, you're walking into a situation where you need to make an impression, because unless you know for sure who's going to be there, unless you know for sure what the occasion is, then you're walking in a little bit blind to the situation. And at that point, what do you do?
Go to the food table.
Okay. Well,
that's my answer.
If you're a man or a woman.
Well, I know the bar. Well, yes, you can, but I mean, really, if the food is already displayed, otherwise you find the person who invited you. That's always the first clue. And that's a good way to go to that person. They know you're there, which acknowledges a thank you for inviting them. Now, you're going to the home. This is at a home.
Yes.
Okay, one thing I always suggest at a residence, you always take a gift. always take some gift to a residence when you're invited into someone's home. That's very personal space. Now, they may be entertaining in the backyard, whatever. I do suggest, I know things have changed because you can tell from our octogenarian observation at our age, things were a lot different years ago. But I still think you just can't do too much for courtesies. And there's something that I've got to interject right now. Never, ladies, never deprive a man of the privilege of being a gentleman. I remember when the NOW program started years ago, the National Organization of Women back in the 60s, and women were perfectly capable of opening their own doors. It has nothing to do with your physical ability. But I just hate it that we've really deprived men of that privilege. Car doors, any door. I know, Denny, you're a perfect gentleman. I love it. Even when we're eating at home, I put the food on the table, on the plates and everything. He will not sit down until he seats me first. And I love that. So, ladies, never deprive a man of the privilege of
Should
being
we
a
jump
gentleman.
and slap me if I don't?
No, I don't.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I made that up.
You did.
I did. I made that up.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
You were being too nice.
No, well, you're being very nice, and I love that part. Okay, have we gotten into the home? Okay, take a gift. The gift can be something, it doesn't have to be very personal. First of all, it can be flowers. It depends on the occasion. Now, if it's an outdoor barbecue, you might not want to take a bunch of flowers. But one thing you can always do is a small candle. We keep candles. That's just the greatest little gift. Even if people don't want it, it's something they can always pass on. And usually they have a bow or they're kind of done up in cellophane. And I just keep those because it's just a little thank you. And that's just always a nice courtesy to do. That's your first impression as you walk into this, whatever it is, an outdoor residence, outdoor barbecue, or whatever. Okay.
Okay. I have a couple of things to add.
Surprising.
One is using some common sense to navigate in today's world means use your brain. Just use common sense. Don't wear a tuxedo to a pool party. It's common sense. And you know, it's okay to ask the person that invites you to give you a little more information
What is the dress?
about
What is the
the proper attire for the function. And it's okay to ask, and you can ask 2 or 3 questions. There's no limit. So do that and use your common sense, and it'll take you a long way. Now, I'm going to add one other thing. When we're talking about men or women and their attire, I want you to know that there's certain things that you still need in your wardrobe. A man needs at least a dark suit. That's for funerals, weddings, and
all other happy
semi-formal occasions. A man needs at least a dark sport coat and either khakis or a gray pair of slacks, or it could even be a nice pair of jeans to wear with that sport coat. You also need a button front shirt, or you need t-shirts that are clean and nice, and you don't need to tell anybody about you or where you stand in the world. Wear just a regular t-shirt.
You're the only person I know that irons t-shirts. Are you recommending they iron them?
Why wouldn't you iron a t-shirt so that you don't have those wrinkles?
You even iron mine.
Okay, now we're getting real personal.
Okay.
Anyway, for a woman, the same thing would apply. You need a good skirt, a good blazer, a good pair of slacks. A pantsuit is very acceptable, and some 2 to 4 inch heels, and a dress.
Mm-hmm.
They ought to be in your wardrobe. If you don't have anything else, at least have those. All right? Now, we've covered attire, we've covered impressions, we've covered making a handshake. Now the next thing is you're walking into this place, wherever it is, and you don't know everybody, but you're being introduced. And introductions, for me, are very difficult. It's always, to whom do you address first? Is that correct?
Right. Well, we talked about that the other evening. And man to woman, woman to man. But this was in my workbooks for years. Unfortunately, because of women's lib, that's gone to the dogs. So right now, it's just equal. What happened years ago, women were put on pedestals. And then we had the Now program, which wanted women equal to men. So we had to come down off our pedestals to be equal to men. And I've had people object to this, and I said, I'm sorry. Back in the 40s and the 50s, we were treated with such respect as women. And I feel sorry for the young women because they've never encountered this. But the Now program wanted women to be equal with men. So truthfully, we are equal to men. So now there's no more correct information on man to woman, woman to man. What we're going to do is talk about name association, introductions, the very next session.
We are?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Because, well, the thing is that I really want to go into more of this on how to introduce, how to greet, what's important, and also name association. We'd planned to do that today, but you probably talked too much.
I probably did.
No.
Okay, so she gave you the tease on our next episode. In the meantime, we want to thank the producers, Joy and Wyatt and Josh, for
Yes.
putting together the episodes. We appreciate it. They're
great.
real pros.
Oh, boy.
They
Make
keep
us
out
look
of
good.
trouble.
Well, if we don't look good, it's their fault. Okay.
Yeah, and we can blame them.
Yeah, there you go.
Also,
Okay.
we need your comments. We need your
Yes.
questions. We don't, I guess we don't need, we would like to have your comments, your questions. Any information you'd like to pass our way, or if you have something you'd like to find out a little more about.
We had several
The
from the
email
last one, which was
is
great.
Dennie and Ernie at gmail.com. It's all lowercase, DENNIEANDERNI at gmail.com.
ERNIE.
Pardon me, I left.
The E off.
I'm in a hurry. And then you can text us. Do not leave a voicemail. We don't have the staff to cover it, but leave a text. And that is at 918-568-2368. That's 918-568-2368.
And in closing, let me just say one more thing. We're going to talk about name association next week. And there's a couple of things that we used to do in practice. And of course, you have to have the desire, you have to listen and care before you even work on name association. But it was called the CAR method, C-A-R, concentration, association, and repeat. So until next week, you might want to work on those. Let's see how you do. Denny,
That's
are you
it.
going to say goodbye?
That's it. Goodbye. Thank
Goodbye.
you very much. See you next episode.
Bye.